My name is Katie. What's yours?
Samantha.
Samantha? Okay, is that what you want me to call you through the session, or?
You can just go by Sam.
Sam? Okay. So tell me a bit about yourself, or what's your favorite things to do, anything like that.
Well, I'm an 18-year-old mother of 3 children. Don't know who the father is of any of them, but yeah, one of them is 5, the other is 2, and then, well, I guess I'm pregnant with one, so I'm not technically the mother of that one yet. I mean, I am, but it's not out yet. I'm not in school, but I work at this coffee shop near my the apartment that I live in, and I like to read, and I like to hang out with my friends, but I don't get to do that much because I have to hang out. I have to take care of my kids a lot. Yeah, it's not really much.
Yeah. Well, before we get started, I'm glad I got to know you a little bit. Talk about that. Before we get started, we have a thing called confidentiality contract. And so basically that just means that whatever we discuss in this room stays within our room, unless you were to harm yourself or others. If you were to harm others, like the disabled, children, or elderly. Sorry. So anything like that, I would have to report you. But from looking at your file, you were referred to me for child abuse. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll get more into that a little bit later. But okay, so tell me a little bit about the situation you came in with today. Like what's going on right
now? Well, I have this this neighbor who comes by sometimes. She's really nice. She always tries to give me food or just a treat if she's baking a cake or something. She'll come and bring it by for me and my kids. And one time she came over and I was in the middle, kind of having an argument with my 5-year-old. I mean, I wouldn't really consider it much of abuse, but I mean, that's what she thought. I mean, maybe she just saw it wrong, but yeah, he spilled this glass of milk on the carpet, and I told him to pick it up and clean it up, but he wouldn't. And then we were he started crying and screaming and getting really disruptive and annoying, and the other kids were sleeping, and I didn't want him to wake them up, so I started yelling at him. And then I grabbed him and put him in the other room so that he could be quiet. And then he still would be quiet, so I just kind of gave him a little slap on his face just to get him to get the idea. And then that's when my neighbor came in, and she got through the door. I left it unlocked, I guess, and then she came in, and then she was like, "What's happening?" And I said, "He just wasn't listening. I was just trying to discipline him and make him stay calm." And then she was bringing over a plate of cornbread, and yeah, that's basically what happened. And then she seemed kind of concerned, and I told her it was nothing to worry about, but then she said that she was going to call, and I told her not to, but I mean, seems like she did, and yeah, so then here I am. That's it.
So you were referred by the Child Protective Services, I'm assuming?
Yeah, she called them, and then they brought me over here.
Okay. So what I'm understanding is that they're your neighbor. What's her name, or him, or?
Her name is Julie.
Julie? So she came in while you were trying to handle your son at that moment, who was just not listening, which most 5-year-olds are not very, they don't like to listen that much, but, and your way of disciplining him was a little slap on the face, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
That can be rough. And you said you're how old?
18.
18. So you're a young mother.
Mm-hmm.
And to almost 3 children, so that's got to be rough. So tell me a little bit more about your kids.
So my 5-year-old son, his name is Timothy. He's the really energetic one who doesn't like to listen sometimes. He throws tantrums a lot, so get a little annoyed with that. And I mean, I've tried to get him out of that habit, but sometimes I just get impatient because I also have my other son who's 2. His name is Richard, and I haven't maybe done the best at trying to raise him to get out of his tantrum habit because I've just been trying to take care of the other kid and I kind of let him get away with it. So when he does keep doing it, I get a little frustrated. But I think I handle it pretty well concerning the circumstances. And my aunt, she actually she lives with us at our apartment. She helps out a little bit, but she works and she's gone a lot of the time. So yeah, I'm alone with them a lot, and I get help with her when she's around. But when she's not, it's just a lot to take care of. But I mean, they're great. They're really good-looking sons, and I mean, even though I don't know who the father is, like I still love them. And I think they're gonna grow to be good kids. I'm probably gonna have a hard time not having a father around, but yeah.
Wow. You seem very strong going through the situation on your own. Well, except for your aunt who comes by and helps you out, but even then, having to handle a 5-year-old and you said 3-year-old, 2-year-old, and well, now your unborn child as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the fathers aren't involved at all, or you don't know who they are. Or...
No, I'm not with any of them anymore.
Okay. So
I actually do have a current boyfriend though that I'm with now.
Okay.
And yeah, we hang out sometimes. He doesn't really like want to get too involved with my kids, so he doesn't like help out much taking care of them. But yeah.
Okay. What's his name?
George.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit more about George. He just doesn't seem to really want to get your kids, or
yeah, he is not like the father type. I don't blame him. He doesn't want to get too close to where he like starts getting or them getting attached to him, because I mean we're kind of on a no strings attached relationship. Like we're not like really serious or anything, but we enjoy each other's presence and company, so we hang out, go on dates sometimes when I'm free, and when my kids are napping, he'll come over and we'll hang out, and he'll hang out at the apartment with me when my aunt's working. But yeah, he's never like wanted to really like get to know them or hang out with them because he doesn't want them to get attached to him. And then if he were to leave or if we were to stop hanging out, then they'd miss him and be sad. And he just never liked kids anyway, so
right.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's more of a open relationship where he could hang out with other women as well, or is he more committed to you?
I mean, we haven't really talked about that. I'd imagine he'd probably be hanging out with other women when he's not with me, because I mean I never told him he couldn't.
Right.
And yeah, we haven't really like completely like made a solid plan on that. I mean, because we're just really kind of just
hanging out.
Yeah, it's not really anything serious. So
yeah. So since you the incident where your neighbor Julia came in and saw you, hit your child on the face, what was your reaction to it? Like, how did you feel when she said that she was going to report you?
Well, I mean, I was kind of like surprised and confused because I mean, I think that's normal to just like give your child or to spank your child, when they're misbehaving. And also, I didn't think it was really much of her business because it's not her kid, and she kind of just came into my house unannounced. Didn't knock or anything, so she just happened to run into something that wasn't really her business. So yeah, I was kind of like a little bit like offended because she shouldn't be trying to tell me like what I can and can't do, and then getting me into like this trouble that I think really could have not. It's not really completely necessary.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about your family life, what that's about. So are you close with your father and mother anymore?
Well, my mother has never really been around in my life. She was actually a prostitute. That's all I really can think of her as. She wasn't really around, didn't really take care of me. I kind of could just do whatever I wanted because she really didn't care less whatever I did. And my dad, he was just always busy at work, and he'd get angry at me a lot of times, and kind of just always be tired and stressed from work and kind of take it out of me. Sometimes he didn't treat me right when I was a kid. He did some things for me that kind of made me resent him or get mad at him ever since then. So, yeah, now, once I was old enough to get out of the house, I left. I moved in with my aunt. She doesn't really know much about them because she kind of doesn't have the closest relationship with my mom, who's her sister. So, yeah, I just kind of told her I wanted to get out and start a new life. So I moved in with her. And, yeah, I don't really keep in contact with my parents at all. I don't really care to.
Okay. So you haven't talked to your parents since when? When would you say?
Well, I'm gonna be 19 soon, so once I was 18, I was old enough to, or actually was able to leave them, because I became legally an adult. So yeah, about maybe 9 months ago, I left as soon as I turned 18 and came and lived with my aunt. And yeah.
So you talked about how your father kind of, you're angry at him for things that he's done. Can you go more into depth about that? Like, what's gone into that relationship that's made you angry?
The first time I remember, because I guess when I was really younger, or a lot younger, a kid, I always saw him as just a normal dad, taking me to the store sometimes, and then letting me ride in the cart and waiting for him as he bought tools to do stuff in the house. But then when I was 13 years old, I was in my room, and I had a friend over, and I wasn't allowed to. He never let friends come over, but tonight I had her sneak in, and she lied to her parents, told them that she could come over to my house, and we were having a sleepover. And then he came in, he found out, so he told me to come, and then he brought me downstairs, and then he grabbed a belt and he slapped me with it, because he was really mad, and then he told me to ask the friend to leave. So then she had to call her parents and then tell them to come pick her up. So yeah, ever since then I was really mad at him, because it was embarrassing, like, about my friend. Like, I didn't want her to think anything of me and my family. And then I was sad because I wanted to hang out with her, and we didn't get to do that anymore. And then it just kind of made me, like, kind of nervous around him ever since then. Like, I didn't know that he would do something like that, and ever since then he wouldn't really be slow to hit me or yell at me, and say, like, really harmful things, like you're stupid, you're kind of, sometimes he'd say I'm a mistake, and that him and my mother never really wanted me around, but then they just got stuck with me, and yeah, and even one time, he took me into his room when my mom wasn't around. She was out doing whatever, and I said that I was tired and I wanted to go to sleep, but he wouldn't let me leave, and then he made me stay in the bed with him, and yeah, you could probably imagine what happened after that. So, yeah.
Wow, that's really strong of you to talk about that right now. I'm glad that you're open to me to talk about things like that, because I know it can be rough to think about the past things when you're trying to move forward, you know. So I kind of wanted to do something with you today. It's called an eco map, and it's a little thing to help me understand you more and how I could potentially help you as well. So over here we have this right here, and so it says the individual, family, and household. So for example, we would put your name, Sam, and then your children's name, which were, again,
I'm sorry. It was the 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Timothy.
And then the 2-year-old.
That was Richard.
And have you named your unborn child yet?
I haven't.
You have not. Okay. Well, we'll just put the unborn one. How about that?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a connection there because obviously they're your sons or son and potential whatever the unborn will be. So that just shows what is your family household right now. Would you say your household also includes your aunt in that?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your aunt's name again? Did you tell me or
I don't think I did. Her name is Jessica.
Jessica? Aunt Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your mom's sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you say that so over here we talk about how the connection with your family members are or whoever in your social system is. Would you say that with your sons it would be strong or maybe in between or just not there at all? What do you think?
Well, they're pretty young, so I feel like they're even the 5-year-olds are too young to really like understand like the idea of relationship or love or anything.
Okay.
I think I do what I need to take care of them and keep them alive, but yeah, I mean.
So technically it's strong, so it's not that they don't understand anything right now type thing because they're too young to know things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll just put a line here just to show what's going on. Okay? And what about your aunt and you? Would you say that's strong or?
Yeah, she was the only person in my life, I guess, that I've really trusted. I guess like an older adult. She's let me like live with her, come to her house, and she's helped me out with my kids and stuff. So, and we've been able to laugh together, and yeah, I feel like she's always felt like the closest person that I have.
Okay, so that's definitely strong. Okay, so now let's talk about. Did you finish high school?
No. So when I had Timothy 5 years ago. I stayed in school while I was pregnant, but then as soon as I had him, I had to get away from school when he came out, and then I had to take care of him. So yeah, I dropped out of school then, and then once he was getting older, then I got pregnant again. So I just never got a chance to go back to school. So
okay,
yeah.
So when do you think you left school? Was it like junior year, sophomore, maybe even lower than that, or?
Probably when I was, let's see, I'd say like my 8th grade year.
8th grade year?
Yeah.
So you just left school before technically high school even started?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So would you say you had any friends by the time you had left school? Like, did you have anyone, like, when you did get pregnant, did you have anyone you could lean on and say this, like, oh my gosh, this happened, someone to confide in at that time?
Yeah, there's one girl that was in my class, and she was also my neighbor, and I'd hang out with her a lot when my parents weren't around. Yeah, I'd tell her everything, so she knew about it, and she was always there for me and, like, kind of talked to me about it.
Okay.
I don't really talk to her anymore, though.
Yeah. So you don't talk to her as much, but would you say you would ever want to talk to her again?
Yeah, I think if I had the opportunity to, I would, because she never did anything wrong to me, never gave me a reason to not like her.
And what was your friend's name?
Her name was Megan.
We'll just put her on the side because you're not having that much of a connection now that you are, you haven't seen her in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So we just put her right here for now. Is there any other people in your life that you can confide in or you feel close to? I mean, you said your aunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to put her in a bubble to just say that she was a good connection?
Yeah, sure, I would say that. She's one of the more important people in my life.
And you say that's a strong connection?
Yeah.
And then there's another thing that we'll look at the chart, and there's flows of energy. So that kind of just means that you could be giving energy into someone, like giving it your all, trying to make that relationship happen, or that person could be trying, or it could be both of you trying. So would you say that your relationship with your aunt has energies going from both ends, or would you say that you put more in or she puts more in? What do you think?
I think we put equal amount because, she definitely put a lot because she let me stay at her house or her apartment, and she helped me take care of the kids a little bit. But I also try to help, like, with house duties, like cleaning and laundry and stuff like that. So, and then we also just kind of like laugh together, we support each other, and are just friends. So I feel like we both kind of give each other something.
So you definitely, even with her just being your aunt, you feel like she's a good best friend type situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put that down. And that's good to have, that when you have that close relationship with a family member, that can also be like a good person to just talk to in general.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you feel good, right? That makes you just happy that you can come home and be like, hey, let's talk about my day type thing. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So besides family and friends, what about, because you work, you have a job, right? You said you work at a cafe or
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I work at a cafe.
Okay. Do you have any people there that you can talk to? Do you have like coworkers that are really supportive of you, or
I mean, I never really considered any of them super close friends because we just kind of like do what we need to at work. But there's one girl that I kind of have a little bit of a connection with, and we kind of like joke around and just make the work day go by a little faster. So yeah, I guess I'd consider one of my workmates, Julie.
Julie? Would you want to put her?
Yeah. Yeah, we could add her.
Okay. So coworker.
Yeah, it's actually Julia. But yeah.
Julia. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost similar to my neighbor.
Yeah. Okay, so Julia. And so would you say that's a strong, or maybe in the middle, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really like we're really close, but we have a somewhat of a relationship, so yeah, it's not weak or anything.
And you would say that you put energy equally, right?
Yeah, we both kind of just make each other's day at work not as bad, I guess.
Right. How is work for you? Like, how do you enjoy that job?
I mean, it's okay. It's just kind of like a normal job. Just kind of serve or make coffee, serve tables, and yeah, just kind of the same type of rush, or doing the same thing every day. It's just kind of like a habit. It's just a way to get money, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say like I hate it, but it's not like I love it or particularly enjoy it.
Right. That's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked about some things that in the beginning, truthfully, I don't remember as much, but what are some hobbies or recreational activities that you really enjoy?
Yeah, I like to read.
Okay.
Sometimes when I'm just like watching my kids, or if I have to like supervise them, just let them play around, I'll just read. I like to go on dates, hang out with guys, you know, like it's a good way to hang out with adults because I'm always with kids, and then it's just nice to be around someone that makes me feel special, because at work I'm with people but not really in an intimate way, so I like to hang out with men and go on dates.
Okay. So you said that you like reading. Would you potentially do some writing? Like, do you think writing is something that you could consider as well? Because sometimes reading and writing kind of go together, because, you know, reading books, someone wrote the book, and so you kind of just want a connection with those characters in that book. So would you ever consider maybe like journaling? Like, do you think that would benefit you?
Well, when I was younger, I used to write in a diary a lot. After I come from school, I'd always write everything. And I wrote a lot of stuff about my parents in there, so I think I do like to get out my thoughts through words too.
Okay.
I haven't done it much recently, but I think it is something I have done at one point in my life. Maybe I like it again.
Okay. So, let's see. So, going back, I'm trying to remember. We're going to move on to a different sheet now, which means this one is kind of like a contract for all that's been going on right now. So, we call this the contract for intervention plan. So basically, for an example, when there's someone that coming in who's a heavy smoker or something like that, they want a goal to get over it, right? So right now, I would like to make some goals with you on how to help you become, you know, kind of a better person and try to be more yourself, if that makes sense. Do you think you would be willing to do that?
Sure.
Yeah. Woo. Okay, so obviously we kind of described the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is that, you're being referred for abuse. And so when we're talking about the abuse, which, you feel it's not really abuse, right? You just felt like you were just getting onto your child type thing.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess the more I think about it, I guess it does concern me the fact that someone would think that. Like,
right.
I guess the way maybe if it looked her that way, maybe that's something I could just be mindful about because I don't want to continue that if it'll look like that to other people. But I never want to hurt my kids, but
right.
I just want to get them to not misbehave and listen sometimes. So if there is maybe something else I should do to get that, if I could figure out what that is, that would be great.
So does your aunt sometimes help you out when it comes to that? Like, since you have difficulties trying to get the kids, not to be tantrumed and trying to lash out a lot, would you say that, you try to get your aunt involved to help you out with that?
Yeah, with her though, I feel like it's easier because the kids, they like her a lot because she's like, the fun, cool aunt. And also since she's not with them as much, I think they don't get tired of her. They get tired of me because I'm always around and they'll listen to me sometimes, but then at some point they get tired of it and get bored. So then they eventually just stop listening. But then when she's around, it's new. So yeah, when she does come, she'll help me if I'm struggling. I'll say, I can't get them to listen. Can you please help me? And then she'll step in and then they'll listen. So
okay,
I don't know what it is I can make them. It's like they respect her more than me or something. I don't know.
Right. We're reflecting back, and we'll get to the contract for a second, because I want to talk a little bit more about, how sometimes it can be hard to control, like, get a hold of the child, Would you say that kind of has something to do with your past a little bit, how you were abused by your father? Do you think sometimes you feel that you're abusing the child because that's how you learned how to handle a child, maybe?
I never really thought about that. I guess, me being so used to that, I wouldn't say I've treated my kids the same that I was treated.
Right.
But, I guess I could see how someone would think that would make me more likely or it's more possible for me to act in a similar way because I was used to that kind of treatment and maybe it's kind of in my genes a little bit to respond in that kind of way out of anger.
Yeah.
So, maybe. But yeah, I'd hate to become like my parents, so.
Right. Especially in your situation, you never want to go back to your past self. You always want to move forward in where you are now, and you want to become that great mom that your boys need, I do want to talk a little bit about your history in general, because we talked about your parents and how that went. Would you say that you suffer from like some kind of mental illness of some sort because of all the things that you've been through in your life? You get what I'm saying? So like depression, or maybe you're anxious, are any of those something you've dealt with?
Well, I've never been to like a therapist or anything. This is like the closest I have, I guess, to talking to someone about anything. So I kind of never like got to like talk everything out. So, but I have always like, I guess, felt like there was a part of me that was really felt this like deep sense of like sadness and like emotion just because of everything, and I never really felt like I had any good, strong relationship family-wise. Mine is my aunt. So I always did kind of feel like, and I also felt a lot of anger and resentment towards my parents for not like giving me what I needed, I guess, like treating me the way my friends were treated or how I think that I should have been treated. So, I wouldn't be surprised like if I was depressed. Like I can't remember honestly because I try to block out my memory, but there would be days when I was younger I'd just like sit in my room and just like really do nothing and try to like keep to myself and stay away from my parents. So yeah, I'd get pretty sad, and yeah, I was definitely really angry a lot of the time. sometimes, and I guess I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. And I can understand where your situation where you just, you felt like your friends got better treated than you did, and it makes you sad because, you wish you had what they had.
Mm-hmm.
Am I getting that right? Okay. Have you ever had any kind of medical history, like besides, going to the hospital to give birth to your children? What else? Is there anything else that you had to go to the hospital for at any point in time?
Well, one time at school, I fractured a bone in my arm, like kind of like near my elbow, when I was playing softball. And yeah, I had to go to the hospital for that. But that was like one of my teachers, they took me, and my parents weren't able to come because, well, they said they were working, but yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come if they weren't working. So yeah, I went for that, and yeah, that's all I can remember. Just hurting my arm when I was at school.
All right. And I pretty much asked this to everybody, but was there any time in your life where you did use drugs or drink alcohol, and are you doing it now, or I just want to ask these questions for.
Would you have to tell my aunt any of this?
No.
Okay. Yeah, when I was a few years ago, even now sometimes a little bit here and there, I'll go to bars, drink a little bit, and then I've also done some heroin just a little bit here and there. Like some of my boyfriends have had some. They showed it to me, and I would just try it out with them. Yeah, I wasn't too into it, but I mean, I didn't mind doing it once in a while. It's kind of a nice thing to try out.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me kind of get over when I'm stressed out with my kids, or just forget about all the messed up things that happened to me when I was younger.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see. So now that we've talked a little bit about, just the history of your, past, so you just wanted to gain more mental, understanding of what you've gone through. So let's see. Are you religious any, or do you not have a religion really?
No, I've never tried to deal with any or get into any of that. I've never really thought about God. I never really believed that God exists or anything like that. I've never.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't go to church or anything like that.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go back to this contract because I want to make sure that we set some goals for you until the next time we meet, or moving forward in the time that we're probably going to have to meet a couple of times just for the sake of understanding the situation better and making sure that everything's okay in your home. So, what would you say, because you did hit your child once. Have you done it multiple times in your life, or have you,
I have done the same thing that I guess what my neighbors saw, but that was the first time someone saw me do it, and then tell me that it was bad, and try to go to Child Protective Service and everything. So I have before. I didn't see it as a problem. Yeah, sometimes I just feel the need to discipline them, and sometimes a little bit of physical response I feel is what it takes, but I don't try to leave a mark or make them bleed or anything.
Right. Okay. So would you say that's because you get really stressed out about the situation with your child, or that you just get so angry that you just lash out, or how do you get to that point where you just, you do physical touches to the child?
Yeah, usually when I'm really stressed or really angry and frustrated with them for not behaving, or for just being a little noisy. Sometimes my head hurts because I'm tired, and they're just being really loud and not quieting down. And yeah, I guess if other people are around, like my aunt or something, they'll behave a little bit better, or I'll be a little bit more nervous to discipline them. But when no one's around, I know that's like the most effective way, so I'll just do it real quick to try to get the response that I want. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to take a thinking break real quick, and I'm just going to kind of talk to myself and well, not talk to myself, but try to think of ways to, give you suggestions on how to help the situation and come up with goals. And I'll be right back.